What is going on? Dustin Gutkowski here with the DG Show, and I got my guy. If you don't know who this dude is, man, you need to look it up. He's doing big things, and I'm excited to have this guy on the podcast because, one, he's never short of words, which is what you want on a podcast. But you know what it is, man. You see people that just talk a big game and they don't back it up, right? Then you see people talk a big game and they're actually doing bigger things is the best way I could describe it with my guy Flash. And we randomly met. Even though he's here on the DG Show, we're gonna drop something. So my guy wrote a song. Okay,
he wrote dropping it right off the rip.
On the so we're not supposed to drop it, but we're dropping it. That's what we do. And man, I'm excited about it because we were in LA at a fight at Up Next. Shout out, going there at the end of the month, man. Up Next is incredible, and my guy Manny, he's a connector, right? And he's like, yo, man, my guy wants to come through. Blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, man, come on. And he didn't even tell me anything, bro. He didn't tell me that. He just said, my guy, I want to come through. And so we get there, we just start talking, and we just, through chatting, which I think, no offense to you, I think is the coolest thing, a part of it, just because I'm a fan. But, man, your uncle was Love Bug Starsky, and not very many people know who that is, but he literally coined the phrase hip-hop. Like, he discovered like, there's no hip-hop without your uncle, right?
It's crazy.
And if you know, which this is where I think you're supposed to meet people for a reason, is that my favorite song on earth is Biggie, it's Juicy, right?
Yep.
It was all a dream. So I feel like describes my life. If you could take the theme song, man, I love it. It's something I can listen to over and over and over. I literally listen to it every day, and every day it gives me chills. And in that, it's Love Bug Starsky, man. And so welcome, Flash, to the DG Show. Man, round of applause.
Yeah.
What is going on, man? So you flew in. Man. We're doing it. And by the way, I love the shoes.
Oh, yeah. We got some good Bathing Ape Spider-Man edition, for the nerds. I see you got your whole nerd vibes in here, man. We're the same. We're literally the same.
Yeah, we nerded out, man. We love it in all of our different ways, man. We all nerded out. I think that's part of we were having a conversation on the last show about that, how the collecting and that, I almost feel like it's part of your success because you collect these things, whether it be
shoes,
comics, shoes,
artifacts, cool toys and video games, and it's all a part of it. I think it's a part of the personality.
And the jacket too, man.
That's Jeff Hamilton, man. This is directly from Jeff Hamilton, and my jacket is an autograph that says "To my twin, Jeff Hamilton." He's a legend, man. He's a designer extraordinaire, the founder of Guess Jeans. He also did every jacket known to man. Kobe Bryant's jacket,
the iconic photo of Kobe,
Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Madonna. Let we get the names go on.
So the most iconic photo of Kobe is holding the trophy.
Yeah, I think that's his most iconic jacket too, as well. And I just wore that 2 days ago on Rolling Loud. I performed at Rolling Loud. And Jeff actually popped up.
Really?
Yeah, Jeff was there, and he pulled up on me. He was like, "Flash, where are you?" And I said, "I'm about to go on stage." He's like, "Well, come to Crew League," and that's where they have like the celebrity basketball thing, where they have like all the different artists come and compete. Shout out to my boy Eli. He's the one who started that. He was also behind Puff's manager for years prior, and then now that he's just doing Crew League, and he also owns another big blog thing that he does for rap music and stuff like that. But it's sick, man. Jeff was there, and I had the jacket on, and I did a 3-point shooting contest, but I'm not going to say whether I did well or bad.
But you did it.
I did it, and then he held it down for me 1,000,000% when they asked him what did they think about my performance, and Jeff he's a class act, man.
Man, look, not to, on the last episode, Shoes by the Surgeon, which the Surgeon does the hottest kicks out there, man.
Shout out to Dominic. I know Dominic.
I got a custom pair. We're actually going to pick up a custom pair in a few weeks. I ordered a custom pair of Kobe's, the one-on-ones. I had them custom design them for me.
Wow.
And we're going to pick them up. But shoe game, Surgeon's got it on lock. That'll be my third pair, but this is my first pair of customs. I did a couple of releases, so I'm super excited. I did the baby blue, Kobe's little old school, man. These cats put a real jersey in the shoe.
Yeah.
As part of it. I can't like
the actual jersey.
Actual jersey is part of the shoe, man. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, hey, man, and I'll tell you this. Like,
Dominic always does that type of shit. He's insane with it.
But you know what was even cool, man, is, they do a great shoe. and you pay. But a lot of times when you go to people like that, I don't always expect the level of service because the shoe is so sick. They can get away with having bad service.
Right.
I gotta tell you, man, these dudes from like A to Z, man, it has literally been one of the best experiences, which made me like the shoe more. Like the whole
Because of the experience, the whole build out of the shoe. They tell you from breakdown, what's in it, the insole, what it's made of, what materials,
the designs,
the story behind it.
asked me what I wanted, how I liked it, communicated, set the call. Like it was just, and then turn around and did this was the thing for me. Like you can build relationships. And I know you're big on this as well. This is why, like, man, I respect what you do. Was they did research on me and sent me designs of stuff I didn't tell them.
What?
Yeah, man. Like it was crazy. Like I didn't tell them I wanted this. I wanted my just so you know, it was a Kobe design, right? My son's name's Kobe, obviously Gianna, right? So I wanted a Kobe design. Man, they took and incorporated the RR logo. I'm like, man, so like stuff like they went and did some real research on me, not just the RR logo, and incorporated it into the shoes. They did the designs and you pick it. But they were just like the experience that was almost better than the shoe. If I say that, like not disrespectfully, but it was crazy. But I feel like when you see, by far, he makes the best anything in the game.
Craftsmanship is bar none, like the greatest. He'll tell you his favorite jacket of all time. If you want to know Jeff Hamilton's, I'm gonna give y'all a exclusive
spoiler.
What's his favorite jacket of all time he ever made? His favorite jacket he ever made was the last shot, was the 6 rings jacket.
Yeah, really.
After he made the last shot, you know what I'm talking about? That all red one with the buildings in the front, with the rings in the back. He loves that one. That's his favorite jacket. But he said his most iconic jacket was that Kobe jacket when he was hugging the trophy. And Jeff was the one who actually he handed him the jacket. You could see Jeff's reflection in the trophy. People don't know that.
Wow,
you can see Jeff's reflection. If you look at the trophy, you can see Jeff's reflection inside the trophy, which is nuts.
Shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for him to even be there while I'm wearing the jacket doing the 3-point contest, and I'm like, this is just weird.
Wild. Yeah.
And I handed him the jacket. I gave him the jacket. He held the jacket while I was doing it, which he's the actual guy who gave Kobe the jacket. It's just mind blowing.
I mean, besides me, I don't know who he hasn't made a jacket for. He's made it for everybody but me.
No, you're definitely gonna get one.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
And you got these twins sitting right here. Like
he's doing it on the clothing game. Like the dream is get shoes by the surgeon, jacket by Jeff. That's funny. Jacket by Jeff, shoes by surgeon. Yep. That's the get up. But we got something here. I'm gonna let you know if you can hear this. So Flash, one of the most talented guys that I've ever met in my life. And if you don't know. If you watch AEW, we'll talk about your relationship with Swerve. Whose house? Swerve's house. That's like, I feel
like it's the biggest song. I feel like it's the biggest song in pro wrestling right now.
But maybe one of the most catchy ones ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
As far as sports, I think it's just a big theme. I think it's a big theme.
You listen to it and you're like, man, this is catchy. Like you just jam it. But you wrote a song for the podcast. And
this is exclusive. Like we need like a when y'all hear this, because this is.
Are we gonna be able to hear it in the mic? Will they be?
Yeah, this is crazy. He's leaking it right now, guys. Like this is wild. He didn't even tell me we were doing this. I love the intro.
It's got Phil Collins vibe when it drops.
Got it out the mud and made a dream. Everything ain't what it seems. If you want to get good results, build a team. Gun playing games, DG. I got dreams and goals. Dreams and goals. Dreams and goals.
Get results.
Bro.
Dreams and goals.
Dreams and goals, baby.
Get results. Stuck in my Lone Star state. I feel like Dallas. Playing b-ball with the money. I'm making cabbage. Conversation with the debate. I like a challenge. I'm about to put a ring on the planet and call it Saturn. Down like the oil you drill for. I grow strong. Take your best shot at a brother. I made a Teflon. Got a good story to tell. This is my memoir. Handmade.
Bro.
The message, I'm like a cigar. No weapon formed against me. We'll call smoke. Know that I'm making it happen without the high hopes. Shawty said I'm keeping her vote without the pose. The game will forever be sold and not told. Got it out the mud and made a dream.
Bro.
What it seems. If you want to get good results, build a team.
Build a team.
Gun playing games, DG. I
got
got dreams and goals, dreams and goals,
dreams and goals. Get results.
dreams and goals, dreams and goals,
Yeah.
dreams and goals, get results.
Bro.
Sheesh.
Man. That's wild.
I feel like it's an electric record. I think that record really hits home, not just for the podcast. I feel like it's the fact
Yeah. For
that you
life.
got to have that.
What do you get? Look, for everybody out there, man. Like the story, and look, to me, the story is just being written. Like it's just getting started, and look, Swerve, one of the hottest names in AEW wrestling, right? If not the hottest.
Right.
You have the song, which to me is like, it's crazy, man. And you see a lot of these hip hop artists coming out with UFC fighters, boxers, but you don't really see that in wrestling. And now it is, and the song's on there.
I feel like we haven't seen it. I think we've seen it once prior. I think in WWE we've seen it with John Cena with MOP.
Yeah.
Maybe once, but it wasn't. This is not a thing like that. They made that song. You know what I'm saying? They sampled that song, and then I guess John Cena sampled it, and then MOP came on board. It wasn't made for when he got signed. You know what I'm saying? When me and Swerve made Big Pressure, it was for when he got signed. He was unsigned at the time when I met him. So he wasn't signing to AEW. He said it was speculations that he would sign, but after his contract was over with WWE, because once they let you go, they give you like a 90-day window. You already know, like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And when we were doing that, when we were waiting, he brought me to a hardcore match, which brought the love back to wrestling for me by introducing me to X-Pac, and I was like, this is fucking, suck it. I'm like, X-Pac is...
I think we all got suspended from school for that one.
That was like the ultimate suspension.
Yeah.
And like, I used to always, I loved X-Pac, and I got to tell him that I loved him growing up and stuff like that. That was cool, and like, this is the first time meeting Swerve. I'm like, bro, you were already cool as fuck doing that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, he's like, yo, I do music. And I was like, yeah, I was working with Kanye. We'll get to that story for a short stint.
Yeah.
And I ended up going over there. After that, I didn't want to work on music no more. I wasn't in the space. And he was like, I do music. I was like, let me hear your stuff. He was like, is that you have any studios available or anything? And I was like, my boy Prophet, the producer, he's Kanye's producer. He got Grammys with Kanye. He did I Wanna Walk on Water. He did big songs with him in The Weeknd and shit like that. Kanye in The Weeknd. He got all the Grammys with him. He got 2 of them. And I talked him into going to get a studio, booking studio time for free. Like the craziest shit. Nobody would ever do this, the stuff that I be asking people to do. He's like, bro, he's fresh off the Kanye shit.
Yeah.
And he booked the studio time. We get there. He's like, for who? I'm like, for a wrestler. He's like, bro, I don't watch wrestling, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you did though? And he's like,
Everybody
yeah.
did growing up at some point.
He's like, yeah, pull up. So I'm like, all right, let's see what we could do over here. And the intention wasn't to make a theme song. Y'all hearing this first here only on the DG show. The intention wasn't to make the song, like make a theme song. The intention was just to listen to music, and so I could feel him out, see what type of music he makes, see if it makes sense in my world. You know what I'm saying? And we got into the conversation on what he comes out to, because I was like, it'd be a dream to fucking do some like Stone Cold. I'm like, this would be fire if I could do something like that for him. And he was like, yo, I actually come out to Shaka Khan. And I was like, Shaka Khan? And he's like, yes. I said, she's a fucking legend. How much does that fucking cost? That's what I would have known. He's like, a lot. I mean, when WWE was doing it, it was a lot. And I'm like, do you think that would translate to AEW? Would they pay for your theme song, or would they just give you a generic theme song? And he was like, I don't know. I think for now I'm a newbie, so it'd probably be a generic one. And I was like, do you think they would allow us to create something brand new? And he was like, I don't know. He said, we should just try it and see if it hits. So my boy ends up playing the beat, and it's like, doom, doom, doom. And then the first thing I heard in my head was, swerve, swerve, swerve. I just did that in my head, and they were like, what are you coming up with? And then literally 5 minutes later, I'm like, I got it. Like I didn't write it down. None of that was written down. I was like, I got it. And he was like, what is it? And I was like, play it again, Prophet. Swerve, swerve, swerve. And then I said, garments, top rope, catch a vibe, catch a foot. When I drive, big pressure I apply. In the ring, you won't survive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. Yeah, I swerve when I drive. When I said that, they was like, that was weird because I was trying to do analogies of actual, I didn't want it to be just wrestling. I was thinking of life. I was thinking putting pedal to the metal in your life when you're trying to do it. But when you catch a foot, when you drive, you actually catch a foot when you drive the car, and you catch a foot when he does the kick to their head. His move wild. Is his power move is called the house call. So when he gets up, he jumps in the air and then kicks you in your head. And I'm like, that's a driving force to your head. So I was like, that's a bar right there. And I'm like, when you drive in a car, you put the pedal to the metal when you drive. So it's like some genius shit. But then I'm like, in the end, I feel like in the future, it will go over with a good Pontiac commercial or Ford commercial. Yeah, sponsorship. I feel like it could go big with that. I feel like it's just bigger than that. It's like We Will Rock You. You know what I mean? Like,
you play it on anything.
Play it on anything. Video games, all of that stuff. And we have yet to license it to anything yet. It's not exclusively licensed to AEW, by the way, too. People would think that it's not. Like I have the rights.
It's y'all, yeah.
Yeah, me and Swerve have the rights to do that.
Dude, that's why. Like, and I just remember you're like, "Hey, man, we talked about getting a song," and you're like, "I got it," and it's like that, bro. Like,
but I did it instantly when you told me, because you just told me what it was about.
Yeah.
Like, but then I'm able to analyze based off of our conversation when we hung out all day. Yeah. We went to dinner, we chilled all day, we went to an event together, all of that. We went to 2 events together.
Yeah, we went to the LA fight up next, and then we went to the AEW fight here, our wrestling match here.
Yeah, and then that made me be able to get to know you a little bit and then know your energy and stuff like that and what type of human you are. Because at the same time, which I learned how to write music and songs, like hit songs from Eric Bellinger. Eric Bellinger is a Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter, legendary guy. You know what I mean? He works with Rock Nation right now. He's worked for Chris Brown, Usher, every R&B singer known to man. He's written hits for them. You know what I'm saying? And he's finally like getting his flowers now. He's the reason why I live in LA, because Ryan Leslie introduced me to Eric Bellinger. And Ryan Leslie's also a legend. So it was like legend on legend.
Yeah, crazy small
energy.
World.
And then when he introduced me to Eric gave me that protocol on how to write a hit song. It's the feeling. One, the words don't even matter if the feeling. Like, so now when I make a song, I'll mumble the feeling before I add the words. So when I made your song, I was just like, I know how you are. You getting it from the mud, what you came through, the stuff that you told me about your life and how hard it was coming up and stuff like that. That was inspiring to me. So then when I'm hearing it in my head, I'm like, he's definitely getting out of the mud, and he's definitely building a team, what he's done with his business, you know what I mean, in his company, aside from a podcast and just in life. Yeah. And other people could be able to listen to that song and understand that DG is your name, your initials for your name. And then it also represents dreams and goals, which we all have in order to accomplish our stuff. But you need to, you know what I mean? The only way you do your dreams and goals, you'll be able to get that. And when you connect those two, you'll get results.
Yeah, and it hit me, and it was like, it's like when you listen to Biggie Juice, you're like, yo, man, you relate to it because you know that was his life. Mm-hmm. Like, you know that was his life. So when you're that song, you're thinking it's just a hit track, but that was his song, man. Like, that was his life. Like, he's talking about his life, like how it really was. And for a lot of people, man, they don't realize it, that you are coming up through the mud, man. They don't realize it now, and I'm appreciative, man. I'm so appreciative, not just the song because it touched me, but just everything. And the DG show, that's kind of what it's like. Man, it's kind of like that old Eminem. It's kind of part of what guys like, hey, this is my life. Welcome to the Eminem show. Yeah. And he was talking about just crazy shit. And man, this is my life, man. And I like being around great people, but I like understanding and studying what people do, right? It was just even like when we had Patrick Bet-David on last week or the week before or whatever. You know, like we didn't really talk a lot of business, man, because it's not, the business is important, but it's like, how did you get there? And, you know, who are you? Because that's the better understanding of, you can figure out what someone does, I think, by figuring out who they are.
Correct.
And you kind of have these key traits of what it is. And for you, it's like, you're a giver, you know, it's like, hey man, like you're giving for people and you're helping people out and you're doing all this stuff.
I just feel like I'm a conduit. I think that's a good word for what I feel like I am. I know I'm a multi-hyphenate. That's what my mom told me. She said I'm a multi-hyphenated person. To give them explanation what multi-hyphenated means is a person that not a jack of all trades, a person that does all trades but mastered all of those crafts individually, which makes you multi-hyphenated. You're also multi-hyphenated because you've already mastered certain crafts and you're choosing other ones to master.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's also a difficult thing to do. That's like what you would be called a genius because it's like a difficult thing to be able to cut that part of your brain off. You know what I'm saying? And then, but luckily it's like certain things that I'm doing is all childhood based.
Yeah.
So I could connect to it quickly. You know what I'm saying? So with the wrestling thing, that was easy to connect to. The Kanye thing was easy to connect to because it was like, it programmed me for more than half my life. So then when I finally get to meet the dude and then, you know, we get to like exchange energy and it was dope. And then for me being, I know the one rule, now I understand now, the one rule is to never, you know, the first law of power is what? Don't outshine the master.
Ever. Or, I mean, man, you know what?
But I can't necessarily say I believe in that.
I don't know. It depends, man, because it's crazy you said that. So we had a meeting today, like a future leader meeting, and it said the two choices I think that'll shape your business career. One is your spouse, your significant other, because if you're going home to whether it be a shitty husband, shitty wife, like whatever it is, if you go home and you don't have a supportive spouse, it's going to be hard for you to be successful at work.
Right.
Also, if you don't have a supportive boss. So I look at me, my dream goal is to find people that are better than me and make them more successful for me. Because if I can help pave the road to them now, they can help pave the road for me later. Right. And that's the ultimate goal. But I do think there are people out there that have a serious ego and maybe they don't feel like they earned where they got, and so they don't.
The crazy thing is I knew that, though. I kind of knew it, but at the same time, I was like on some Big Sean, my first time, like Big Sean in front of the radio station, and I feel like it's like 2006, you feel me? And then I have to prove myself because I'm the only, I don't know, person that's not lit or unsigned or just a nobody. I'm the only nobody in the room that is actually getting the opportunity to even work next to this man, which is a legend in its own right. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I thought that I was really I did a lot of work. I just went above and beyond. And I feel like if I would have gauged back, maybe it would have gave me a better opportunity, right? Or he continued to work. They just dropped Vultures. Shout out to Ty Dolla $ign's project is great. I love Ty. I fuck with Ty heavy. And sometimes I'm like, what if I did work on it? What if I did like make it through the gauntlet, right? And then the Swerve song would have never existed.
But it never would have happened. And we're supposed to be. And like sometimes, look, man, I feel like I try to create key relationships, and I think that my whole motto is, you know, is a couple is impact over income, and then, you know, be relational, not transactional. But unfortunately, some people are going to be in your life for a transaction. Right. And sometimes that's what it is, and you have to be aware of that and understand that it's okay because you might have been in their life for a transaction, right? And sometimes people are going to use you for that, and you're going to use them for them, and it's the old, you know, right? They're in your life for a reason and some for the season, right? Whatever it is. And so, hey, man, like you and Kanye had your differences, but you know, it is what it is. Look where you're at now. He's doing his thing. Like, respect.
And sometimes I feel like, sometimes I feel like it was supposed to happen. Yeah, because just look what happened though. Like it's crazy to even see in less than a year. It was a year and a half. Me and Swerve went way over. Like, and then we're like brothers in arms with it. It's not like, you know, when you get in a position to be the guy, the top dog, it's not many people that would want to share the podium. When it's trophy time, they don't want to, or they feel like they're like, you know, when you have toys and stuff growing up, and not everybody want to share the toys, like, or this is your Megatron. There's only one Megatron, you know what I'm saying? And then there's an Optimus Prime, and then you like, but I want to fuck with the Megatron because he's bigger and cooler, and he transforms to a gun. And you're like, well, do you want to trade? Not many friends would be like, yeah.
Well, and also too, look, when you see this now, the Swerve sees it. When you start hitting a certain level, people are trying to they're not trying to share the podium, they're trying to take your podium. Right. And so when you always have people gunning for you, you got to be careful too. And so I think it's a combination of that, man. Like, I don't know Kanye. I'm not going to speak bad about him. do his thing, right? He's been super successful. He's crushed it. Whether I agree with him, you agree with him, any of us agree with him, he's had a ton of success and some crazy shit. But I think too, also when you get there, it's like, hey man, it's easy to sit up here and trash him. I don't think
right, because that's what that's what everybody would do. But for me, I just kind of felt like we were more. First, I was frustrated. I've done a podcast before where I was frustrated, but it was kind of fresh off of it. The wound was still open. But for me now, it's just like I'm kind of thankful too because my boy, shout out to Malik Youssef, he was the one who introduced me to Ye, and he told me we're a lot alike, and I understand completely. He's just like, you guys everywhere when it comes to creating. You guys do a lot of different things. And then I also inherited that from my uncle, being a pioneer of things. So then I had to really dig deep, because when he died, it was like devastating to see all the legends at the funeral and not understand, and then having to talk with Busta Rhymes. And Busta Rhymes, when I told him I'm his nephew, he was like, you got big shoes to fill. It got to the point where like I didn't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know how scary that is for somebody that's a legend to be telling you what are you gonna do to fucking forward your family's name, or your family's legend. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about the guy that is like the soil of this thing, like that built.
He coined hip hop.
Yeah,
and I always think hip hop rules the world, man. I feel like so much stuff comes from the creative design of hip hop. It's like creating a song in like 5 minutes. Like people might not relate to it, and I always laugh, man. I like this is funny. Like when you go to the golf courses, and I always see like the dudes wearing like the khakis and the plaid shirt, and they go in their boys to play golf, and they're all proper, but they get to the car, they're banging,
and they're banging some, banging some NWA or some fucking Outkast or some shit.
But it's like that ability, man, to be able to create like a freestyle, to be able to create a song off the top of it. Like, man, that's crazy. Like that to me is like
just
how
imagine this. Imagine this. I'm gonna give y'all another. I'm gonna give y'all some exclusive shit. I would save this for a whole big thing, but you, my brother, I'm telling you this. I'm gonna tell you this up front. I'm gonna tell you how the word hip hop was coined. My uncle told me how it was coined, and what made him even say that. First thing I do, I go to his house. This is about a year before he died. I'm happy
he died 2018.
2018. Yeah. So this is probably about 2017 with my mom. My mom drives me over there. I think we were in North Carolina. Yeah, I think we were in North Carolina. We drove down to see him. And we drove up to see him because we were in Florida. So we drove to North Carolina to meet with him. And he was just chilling, doing music, playing music, smoking his cigarette and shit like that in the room. Yeah, just doing his thing. Showing
was he still creating music at the time?
Yeah, so he was doing like mixtapes. He always stayed like true to the game. You know what I'm saying? His he definitely had an ego, but I mean when you're creating on the level he was creating and doing what he did, you would have an ego too.
But I think you kind of have to have an ego, right? To be
they don't respect you without
an
ego.
But you gotta control it. You gotta like your ego is not your amigo when it comes to thinking you're better than people, but you gotta kind of have that ego to believe in yourself a little bit.
Right, I agree. You have to have tactic diplomacy.
Absolutely.
Because the whole shit when it came to him telling me about it, because I was scared, I ain't gonna lie. But when we went in there, I just wanted to hear new shit. I wanted him to give me some new mixtapes. He always, because when I was young, he would give me, I knew of G Unit, I knew of Diplomats, I knew of them before they even came out.
That's wild.
To the world. Like he was giving me G Unit CDs. My brother was like, why is he giving you all this shit? Yeah, I was listening to all of that. Tony Yayo, 50, Lloyd Banks, fucking the Diplomats, fucking Jadakiss, the Locks. I used to have exclusive mixtapes from my uncle.
Black
all
Rob,
day. Yeah,
Locks,
hell
whoever.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's old.
Bro, like exclusive though. He would let me hear verses from Biggie no one ever even heard.
Crazy.
And he goes, the craziest shit, because he was the original DJ. So I'm like, I'm just listening to music. I'm like, he's like, I'm working on some new beats. Like, check these beats out. And my mom's like, you got to rap for your uncle. And I'm like, I'm not rapping for this nigga. Like, I don't rap for real. Like, and she's like, you have to rap for him. Like, you're doing your thing. I want you to rap for him. And I was like, all right. So we did this song. It's called We Did That. I actually have the clip. I could show you the clip. I actually have the actual final clip, of me before. This is the last time I saw him live. So I'll show you the clip right now. This is very, very exclusive. It'll come out on a documentary, but I'm just gonna show it to you. I'm not gonna show it to you guys on screen, but you guys will be able to hear it. This is very, very exclusive right here. But I just want to drop this information on you since you'll be the first one to ever hear it. When they look back in the past about this, they're gonna be like, wow, This was a very interesting interview, podcast, show, the best show on the podcast waves. You got Wi-Fi in here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, get to it.
Password though. I was just locked in on me.
Look, it's right here. You can see it.
That's probably gonna take a minute to load. Oh yeah, it's just taking a little bit to load.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what I said.
The legend, yeah.
Because we said we did that. I was like, something make the summer cool enough to snow. We did that. We did that, and he said we did that with me, and I was like, he's fucking with me. I told my mom that. My mom said she was just looking like, yeah, like, because I was just waiting. Bro, you got to remember, this is the dude that everybody was with. Nas, the legends, the GOATs, Hove, Biggie, Tupac.
Yeah, everybody.
Like, he liaison Tupac around New York. Like, my uncle, like, I got pictures with him and Tupac.
Was the beef? Was the East Coast West Coast beef that? I mean,
No, the East Coast West Coast beef was. I feel like it was the TV and shit put that over. They didn't have beef like that. They were actually really good friends because Tupac is actually from the Bronx. He was born and raised in the Bronx.
Yeah,
and then moved to the Bay Area, and which eventually got him to LA.
Records.
Here it is, right here, so you guys can hear it.
That's wild, yeah.
And he said it. And I was just shocked. I was shocked that he even rapped anything like with me on some shit that I was catchy enough for that. But you see, like the hook, how important the hook is. Yeah, the hook is everything. The hook in the break of the beat is everything.
Yeah, you hear a beat, it sets it off. It's like it's a feeling, and then you get that hook. You're like, okay.
But it's the break. I mean, when you listen to Juicy and you hear that hook, we everywhere who you are. That's a legendary song though. Yeah. That sample is a legendary song. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And he just added his story, which was pain. You know what I mean? And hip hop was born through pain. Like, I'll tell you exactly how it was born. My uncle was in a group home. My uncle was a tough kid as he was coming up in life. Mm-hmm. He was a tough cookie, you know what I'm saying? When you're in the Bronx and the Bronx is burning down and it's the shittiest habitat to live in, you know what I'm saying? And my mom, he got two sisters, and my uncle is the oldest. So it was, the oldest doesn't really get too much attention.
Yeah, especially if you got two girls and you're a boy.
Then you got two girls and you're a boy, you're out of there.
Forget about it.
Yeah, you're fucked. And he definitely showed that. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to make, or what would be called hip hop today, when you're trying to make something that the community or just, we all love music. You know what I'm saying? It makes us feel good. So a place where you could play music, you know what I mean, at the park and just let everybody pull up. And he would do that at a young age. And play music at the park and then run the wire down. This is a story, Mom. I'm giving y'all some exclusive shit.
This is how he came up with hip hop.
Yeah, so my mom, he ran a wire from like the super in the apartment complex.
Yeah.
I'm like in the building in the projects. He'll run the whole wire all the way down from the superintendent's area all the way down into the park. Steal my grandma's hi-fi, which is record player back for people that don't know about a hi-fi. Not like turntables. Turntables didn't exist yet.
Yeah, it's a true record player.
Yeah, it was a true record player, and scratch up her good shit.
Yeah, that's how you get in trouble. Bro.
That's how you fucking get killed, almost killed by somebody, especially a black woman, an older black woman. You're gonna make it killed.
Yeah.
So he would just scratch up her records like nonstop, and I just be like, wow, dude, you doing that is insane. My mom telling me this, and she's like, my uncle was so good at it as a kid, as a boy, playing music, that they would see my grandma's BMW coming up the street and give a warning to my uncle to know that he has to run back that shit back up there and put it back everything the way it was. And my mom is like, ooh, like you could get in trouble. I'm gonna tell mommy. And then like when that happened, when I heard about that, I was like, that's like the origins of this shit. Like, like talking on the microphone. They took the phone. Remember microphones like this? They used to take the piece of the phone, the talk back on the phone, and use that as a microphone.
wild.
literally a phone and a mic, and then use that as a speak back, wire it so it could talk back to the crowd that way. And I'm like, that's insane.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's so cool. And then when I asked him, when I got to fast forward in time, hearing his backstory a little bit, when you get to go, before like, so Curtis Blow and Dougie Fresh and all of them, those are his friends. Like they grew up together. You know what I'm saying? In the same place, hanging out. These are legends.
Yeah.
And when he passed away at the reception, they thought that I was his son because I looked a lot like him. So I was like, no, that's my uncle. That's my mom's brother. And then they were like, and then I came there wearing a fox. Like I on some Ric Flair shit. I wore a fox with a wolf. I think that was the way. It was like part wolf, fox. The whole back was wolf. The collar was like snow fox and shit. And I just wanted to represent like him, like he would. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Flashy is all get out. Hence my name and stuff like that. Yeah. And when I was meeting Dougie Fresh for the first time and Curtis Blow, and they were all talking to me, and I was just like, it was like kind of out of body because I was looking at it more from a documentary scope than me taking time to actually cope that I lost my Uncle Kevin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to the world, he's Lovebug Starsky, but then people would come up to me during the funeral, and Roxanne Shante, which is super legend, came there and she said she talked to us, gave us her condolences, but she said she doesn't want to see him in the casket. She doesn't want to go in there and see him. So
she just remember it that way.
Yeah, she don't want to remember him that way. So she was just like, she just wanted to come and show love and stuff like that. And then she left, and literally right after that, she dropped a movie about her life with Pharrell. Pharrell executive produced a movie about her life called Roxanne. Wow. Great movie for you guys if you guys are interested. On one of the first female rap artists to ever do it. Definitely one of the first to ever blow up. And it's about her life. It was on Netflix. Probably still on Netflix. And then that's when she was telling me about that. I was like looking at it from like this type of scope, like a director. Yeah. And I think that was a great way for me to cope. Like with the loss.
Almost take your mind off.
Yeah, while I'm there watching him in the casket and watching my grandmother, like she outlived her oldest son. That's the worst shit ever. My grandmother is old. You know, she's old right now. She's still young. I'll give it to her. I don't want her to look at this and want to kill me because I'm calling her old. Yeah, but she's mobile and So when I saw that and I saw the pain my mom was going through, I just wanted to document that type of thing, right? And then when I heard where hip hop started and where it came from, the actual origins of the term itself, my uncle told me they was just getting high, bro. He said they used to all get high. Him and Russell used to get high. Like, you know, back in the day, people used to do coke and smoke dust, and you know what I'm saying? Just get high. You know, they dip cigarettes with the embalming fluid. That's what they call dust. And they used to get high and fucking he said one night he was DJing and he said he envisioned, this is exactly what he told me. I'm not lying. It's just straight up truth. He said he used to envision them hip hopping like a bunny, like bouncing up and down the crowd. And I'm like, that's some real stoner shit. To see them hip hop. Yeah, because then he used to have his rap, hip hop, hip it. You know what I'm saying? Ball with the ball, the bang, diggy biggie. That's him. He started that. Like when you hear Sugar Hill Gang stole that from him.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That was his rap. He literally had that whole entire rap and they turned it into a song because Sylvia Rone couldn't get my uncle to sign to a record label. Like, not a record label. I think it was to get him to sign to a record label or...
Because he wanted to stay like mixtape.
Not even just mixtape. He just wanted to be for the culture. He was already making enough money at the disco. You know, when you're like at the Fever and you like uptown and you getting it, like you in Manhattan with the white people, he was the crossover. Like I feel like I don't take anything away from the Furious Five or all the other, or Kool Herc. Kool Herc, godfather of hip hop. I believe he's the godfather of hip hop. They call him the father of hip hop, but for me, I believe he's the godfather of hip hop because he provided the party for everybody to come to party. You know what I mean? To pull up. He provided the house and the place for people to all go. Like the breakers didn't want to chill with the DJs. The DJs didn't like the graffiti painters. Everybody had their own different element. That's the elements of hip hop. That's how you got the elements. And then they all wanted to go hang out at one place. Imagine being that one cool dude, the dope DJ, you know what I'm saying? That kid, that's why his name was Kool Herc. He was cool as hell. And he made a party for everybody could get off the streets together, not be at war. There's girls there, you know, we could just
Have a
vibe
good
out
time.
and we could just
Yeah.
listen to this music, and it's dope music.
Hip hop.
Meanwhile, my uncle is uptown with a guy named DJ Hollywood, and DJ Hollywood is a super legend. It's my uncle's OG. They don't give him enough credit, but he is the OG. He's the only one with the big Cadillac doing it, driving, you know what I mean, in the hood, and then going uptown to where the white people would be at, where they listen to disco music, and then making that new type of music. It's like a fusion of the music that still didn't have a name yet, and it even have a name. My uncle would bring the stuff that was happening with at the Cool Herc parties, the African Bambadas and all of them like that, and then bring that shit uptown and then mesh it with it, because you know rock and roll was heavy during that time. R&B, all those different things, but they didn't really have that art form yet. You know what I'm saying? It was just different type of music.
So wild.
When he's playing the music, just imagine being there. Sometimes I'll be wanting to like put myself in that place. Imagine if we were there.
Yeah, and but it didn't it didn't exist, right? That's the craziest shit. Like the music didn't exist. You created it, right? And then you're coming up, but like you created it because like we look at it now. It's just that's what we know.
Right.
But imagine then you didn't know because you were creating it, right? Like
You don't know what you're doing until you make it.
But did they ever really know? Because the crazy thing is, did they ever really know? Because it got huge later on. When they were living it, it was big for them,
Right.
but it wasn't big for the world to know. Now we just look at it as, yo, man, these guys. These guys were the OGs,
pioneers and the OGs.
They made it. They didn't even probably get to appreciate it like we do now.
I feel like they don't even get the praise. I feel like it's a sad thing for the OGs. A lot of them are not in good shape. You know, a lot of them are not healthy. They don't have health insurance for artists and stuff like that, for hip hop artists or hip hop legends, which they should have something for our forefathers. It definitely should have something for them, so we could. Because if not, we wouldn't have any of this. And it sucks that they don't have that. And that's why I'm here to transcend hip hop. I don't even think it by the time I'm done with it, it's going to be something totally different. We're turning this thing into the Marvel universe. I want to be the Russo brothers of the Marvel. I want to be the Russo brothers of hip hop, and I want to give everybody their own IPs, their own individual characters. Like we praise Batman and all these different characters that are all they were all created. You know what I'm saying, by a genius minds that created these characters right through comic books, which was also the same exact influence on hip hop. If you think about it. All of those things were influenced by hip hop. Think about the names: Grandmaster Flash, Grand Wizard Theodore, Lovebug Starsky, Lovebug, the Lovebug. You know what I'm saying? And Herbie the Lovebug, and then Starsky and Hutch. It's like so all nerd. All of that shit is just nerd shit.
But they don't do like, I'm a collector and I collect sports memorabilia. It's kind of my thing, man. Especially Lakers and cars. Like I've always, I want like hip hop cars, man. Like imagine, like I got like an Elvis auto. I have a Biggie auto, which I've had for a while, like very rare. I got like some bigger stuff that's like Walt Disney, like people that I felt like did some incredible things. But Biggie, Pac, Nipsey, all these guys I feel like they're appreciated and recognized because they passed away. It shouldn't be like that,
right?
It shouldn't be that you had to pass away
in order to
recognize, like even Eazy-E, man, like what they did. Like if you look at, like, I love Ice Cube, right? He was like, to me, I feel like Eazy-E gets all the love for NWA, but Ice Cube was like, bro, that dude was killing it back then, and he was
super legend.
And still was, but he doesn't get the love. He gets the love as an actor. Right?
Yeah, but because it was what the context was.
Yeah,
during that time, it was a wild time.
It was a wild time, but it just goes that there is not, man. It's still I feel like it's still so new, but they like hip hop doesn't get the love for the dudes until they pass away.
Correct.
And they become this moment. Like I remember listening to Nipsey before he's done, and then when he passed away, Nipsey, and like people that didn't even listen to him, like, oh, Nipsey.
Not
like,
Nipsey fans.
Yeah, it's like you didn't listen
because
to Biggie.
We celebrate death, man. It sucks. We celebrate death when we could be celebrating life. And we need to. I think the issue is, at least to me, is we need to be connecting these things to products. When you connect the music to the product it becomes immortalized. When you think about a Jedi, you think about what? The lightsaber.
Yeah.
You have to connect the thing to it. You know what I'm saying? They're just making it parallel to real life. Everything is parallel to real life. Same story. Who's more important in the Batman? Who's more important in Batman series? The most important person, Joker.
Yeah.
The bad guy is always the most important person, mainly because you have to have sympathy for the villain. The villain is the most important part in the story.
But he makes the hero.
Yes, because but maybe he's not the hero. Maybe he's the villain. Maybe Batman's the villain.
But what does Batman say? You live long enough to see yourself be the hero or the villain.
Right, but if you think about the story of Batman and you look at when you watch the Joaquin Phoenix version of Joker, right? You look at the story of Batman. Batman's family comes from the money. Bro, Joker's like us. We're Joker.
Yeah.
We don't have anything. We came from nothing. We didn't have nothing. You got to get it in the way you got to live, even if you got to steal it. That's the way that he was. But Joker was so angry from getting bullied nonstop and being treated like shit nonstop. That's going to come to a point where your brain breaks. What did he do when he got the money? He burnt it.
Yeah,
he put all the money in the pool and burnt it. So who's the bad guy? Joker or the Batman? The Batman is just protecting the rich people's assets. Wayne Enterprises.
Wild, bro.
So it's a deeper thought when you flip it. When you flip it on the side, you're like, wait, who is the bad guy? That's why it's such a good story, because people love the Joker because they may think that he's the good guy to them.
Well, the bad guy is depending on who's telling the story.
Right.
Like everybody is the bad guy and the villain in someone's story.
Truth.
And so whoever's telling the story determines who the bad guy is and the good guy, because there's people that relate to the Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's people that relate to Batman,
right?
In their own way, right? There's people that relate to Bane. You
right.
know, it's like it's who's telling the story is going to determine, because I always look at it. So that I used this the other day, not to compare it with Batman and Joker, but it kind of reminded me of it. I had a buddy call me. He was like, "Hey man, this guy used to work for you. He was posting stuff online about you." I'm like, "I don't care." He's like, "Yeah, man, but he's," and I said, "Look at the source. Who's telling the story?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "The guy's not doing anything."
Right. Like,
so the guy's doing nothing in life. He's a loser. He's not amounting to anything, and he's making me out to be the villain. On the flip side is the guy that just was making $20,000 last year and now is making $200,000,
right,
and his family's life changed. I'm the hero. Look at the source, right? So I was the villain in this guy's story. I'm the hero in this guy's story, although it's literally the same story. And so it's always about the source too. Like, who's telling the story? If some bitter
who's telling the story and what position they're in.
Yeah, what's the source, right? It always goes, when you see, like, I laugh now, it's like we look at TMZ, they're like a great source, right? Because they catch stuff. When it comes from the National Enquirer, you're like, look at the source, okay? I think that has a lot to do with it. And I'll say this for you, man. We got, you're doing so many big things. You're doing crazy stuff. Your uncle is Love Bud Starsky. I don't think people understand how impactful that is. Pressure, all that stuff, man. Like, you want to change hip hop. You're doing, songs for wrestling legends. You're involved in that game. You're doing the music game. You're doing so many things, man. But like, what really is maybe not what's next for you? I think it's always like, we always like to look at what's changing, what's next, instead of what are you really freaking good at that you're gonna double down. Like, when it's done and over with, when you're remembered, what do you want Flash to be remembered as, and what are you gonna do? Because I think there's a lot of things to remember, but you know what I mean. Like, what's the thing?
I feel like I want to work really deep. I want to go into the film space, like a lot. I really want to be heavy into the film space and the animation space, because the animation space, the kids of the future, you know what I mean? We had cool animations when we were growing up, which shaped us. You know what I'm saying? We're still shaping you today, right now.
We got Batman right
You know what I'm saying? And we watched it as an animation when we were young. So my goal now is like I want to do live action. I want to start out from a comic book to a cartoon to a live action film on it. I've been acting a lot. I just did a movie.
You just did a movie.
Yeah, I did a movie with Fredro Starr. Shout out to Fredro Starr, a legendary icon from the legendary group Onyx. They influenced DMX. They influenced any bald head rapper. They was the ones. They started that hardcore bald head rapping. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Sticky Fingers and the whole Onyx crew.
How do you get the name Sticky Fingers?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. That's a whole nother story. That's a Sticky Fingers interview. But
that sounds like a mob name. That's Sticky Fingers Sam.
Yeah, he might have got it from that. I don't know. I gotta ask him when I see him. But the crazy thing is, like, after that, like, and that's just one phase. That's like my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to like change the film space and show hip hop in a likeness where we could like be the ones, like, you know how the Russo brothers, they tell the story of Iron Man and all those things.
Yeah.
They didn't create the Marvel Universe. They were just conduits for it.
Yeah.
They had the money. They said, let's make this movie Blade and let's see what happens. The shit went.
It blew up.
It opened up the Marvel Universe. People don't even know Blade was the first Marvel movie. You know what I'm saying? No one knows that. And then we start going to Iron Man and so on, Spider-Man and so on, right? So what if we did that for our favorite entertainers? What if we created a universe, right, for our favorite entertainers where everyone could live at and also own a percentage of their IP for the characters that we create based off of their character?
Yeah.
What's that worth? Like how that's how you actually
A lot.
impact the world. I feel like that's how you could impact the world because we love movies more than we like. Majority of people watch movies more than they listen to music. I'm a big music guy, but I'm also a movie anime buff, and then that's one of my main goals. And then it's starting to pan out because of what I'm doing with Swerve. The whole thing with me and Swerve getting together and just being complete strangers to having
family.
To turn into a straight family, crazy business mogul together duo. It's just insane how things is just panning out because we performed that. He even had me open up for him, bring him out at Wembley for 85,000 people. It was like
With
the
DJ
world
Who
record.
Kid?
Yep. Had DJ Who Kid with me on the side. Before we even walked out, he hyped me. He's hilarious, bro. He was like,
We got with Kevin. He was on. Kevin was on his podcast
On
at
Who Kids?
Shade 45 in Miami
Yeah.
right before you did that, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was on. We were in the studio with him, inside the studio. But he did it, dude. Just good energy. Yeah,
Who Kid's my brother. He was like the funniest thing he told me before we even got on. When I went to London, so Wembley Stadium in London, this is AEW's first really big, it's like their WrestleMania. And I'm like, I just went to WrestleMania and I watched Uzi perform there. And I'm like, man, I'm an unsigned artist. So it's crazy that I'm actually even getting this opportunity. So it's still not hitting me yet though. Like my homegirl lives next to the U.S. Embassy, so I'm like staying at her house. She got like this crazy see-through pool, like where you could swim across the whole building. It's like a see-through pool on a skyscraper. It looks like you're like flying, bro. When you swim, it feels insane. Like when we go to London, I got to show you that place.
That's
but
wild.
I swam there and I was just thinking. I still didn't like it. Really hit me until I walked into Wembley empty. And there was like, that they have the World Cup here. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, the World Cup is here. The last two people that performed here was Beyonce and The Weeknd.
You're like, I thought we were just doing backyard wrestling, bro. We're doing this.
I'm like, we're doing this. I'm like, this. I'm not ready for this shit. I'm like, this. Like,
did you start getting nervous?
No, that's what I started thinking. Like, I started feeling like palms are sweaty, knees big, arms are heavy. I went straight into Eminem. Like, I was like, I wasn't ready at all. And then like, as times fast forward, I get in there and then I got to see Tony Khan. Shout out to Tony Khan, the founder and owner of the Jags and CEO of All Elite Wrestling. Great show, everything. Great human.
Great family, right? The whole family
he's
is good
just
people.
Cool. He's great. So I end up going up to him while I'm walking in for sound check. And Tony's there, he's like, hey man, what's up, man? He said, man, I said, thank you for having me, bro. He said, no, thank you for coming out. He said, this is gonna be fucking sick. And I'm like, I'm really fucking about to do this shit in my head.
Don't do it.
Right. I'm like, bro, I'm about to throw up. I'm like, I'm low key gonna throw up. And then I'm like, I can't throw up this early. I can't throw up before we even get started. So I'm like, all right, let me just go to the back and just sit down. So I'm sitting there. I literally sat in the same place in the green room the whole entire time before we even go out.
That's wild.
Then I put my jacket on. I didn't even watch any of the show.
Yeah,
the match. I went out there for a little bit with Who Kid, watched this hardcore match. I actually saw the fight. This is exclusive too. I actually saw the fight that what's the guy that got kicked off of AEW? Not Jack. Yeah, Jack and who else? CM Punk. So CM Punk, I was right there when that fight kicked off. I was literally right in the little area where the fight kicked off, right after the Real Glass situation. I was right there. That shit fucking was insane. And Swerve was like, just get out the way, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like just step up because you don't want to be in this, like, we don't know what's going on yet. And then once we found out, I just seen Punk storm into his fucking dressing room, and then like it was a whole shit show. And then people didn't even realize Tony was literally right there by the monitor, you know, like the TV monitor when you watch it. He was literally right there, stood up, and I instantly knew he was fucked.
Yeah.
I instantly
They got
knew.
a real fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a real, I wouldn't say it was a real fight. A lot of people have their speculations. It didn't look like a real fight to me.
But it was something.
Yeah, it was just like a little like words exchanged, and you know,
Yeah.
and that's that. That's what I saw. But after that happened, I'm talking to Tony, and I'm like getting my shit together, and they putting the in-ears, and I never even talked about this. This is cool talking about it right now. I'm getting ready. They putting the in-ears in. They're in house in-ears. So you know house in-ears have their issues.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. This is my first time performing at a fucking stadium, let alone I skipped an arena. I never performed at an arena before.
went to the stadium.
I went straight to a stadium. My first big show was at a stadium for 85,000 people. A record.
Let's go.
A world record. So he goes, yo, he comes up to me, he says, Flash, I don't wanna fuck up your process or anything, but people are running late on time. They're running over. I need you to get Swerve I need you to get him to the ring right away. I need you to get him right to the. So in my head,
So you're like, how fast do I walk?
right
I
now I'm
run?
freaking. No, now I'm freaking out. Now I'm freaking out because in my head, for the tryout, what we were working at, like doing the sound check. In my head, I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and right when
now
I get
like you don't know,
bro, it whacked me right out right before I gotta go on. So now they're putting both in ears in, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucked. Like
I'm
about to bomb this shit. That's all I could think of. It did to double down to make it even worse. Why what the fuck you think he went and told me? Who kid pulls up on me and he says, yo, Flash, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little nervous. And I'm like, how?
This is the guy that performs in front of everybody.
Right. And he's like, cause you wanna know the craziest shit? The last time I did this shit, me and 50 was opening for Eminem at this very venue at the Wembley. We opened up for Eminem here. Me and 50 opened up for Eminem here.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I was here. And now I'm here with you. But I don't have to perform. You do. And then I was just like, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, dickhead.
I was like, you fucked me. I was like, you definitely got me fucked up.
Do you almost think like when people do that though, it's weird. It makes you a little more nervous for a moment, but it also almost takes something off because it's like, yo, he's nervous too.
Yeah.
Like
no, but for me, I was like,
it.
after the Tony thing telling me that I got to get him to the ring really quick.
That was it.
I was just like, fuck, man. I don't know the timing. I don't know where the TV camera's gonna be. I learned one thing from Swerve. I learned a lot of things from Swerve, but Swerve told me, always perform for TV.
Yeah.
Too. He said not only that you have a crowd, but remember, there's countries watching you at home right now. This is a world. This is a pay-per-view, and this is hard cam. As soon as you come out, the hard cam was there pulling back.
Your face.
Bro, they pulling back, and I have to sell this shit as I'm coming out the tunnel. I'm in my peripheral. I'm seeing this mega jumbotron. This ain't a jumbotron. This is a massive screen. I've never seen anything. This shit is bigger than fucking where the LA Rams play at. This is big as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm seeing myself on it as I'm walking out, and I'm like, garments. Right when I said that, I'm thinking about the timing, the 1 and 2 and 3 timing, right? And then literally, bro, the in-ear just cuts off. Bro, I went off beat on live television for a second. People try to fry me on the internet about it and shit. I literally went off. I'm like, y'all don't know what the fuck's going on. And then right when the pyro went off, which I didn't know I had hella pyro. I didn't fucking know anything. All I could think about was fucking Kevin Hart and like saying like, if you fucking get pyro, you fucking made it.
Yeah.
So when
it's over, let's go.
it startled me. So when they said behind me and my whole back was on fire, I was like, what the fuck? Like I made it. Like but I didn't get to download that I made it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, the pyro just hit. This shit is crazy. I'm on. Like I'm the biggest in the world right now. And then I was like, let me stay on point. So right when the second pyro went up, I like lifted my leg up, and then my leg up was a distraction to grab the in-ear out. I grabbed the in-ear out and listened to the monitor in the stadium and just went based off the monitor in the stadium.
Yo, that's
so the
wild.
delays that was going, there was no delays. I instantly went on time again. So people was like, "Oh, that was a quick recovery." I was like, "Bro,
like, listen, you know who's trolling you on the internet? People ain't doing nothing, right?
Dude.
Like it's whatever. It's like,
But I wanted to beat myself up about it
Yeah,
after
but
because
you
when
know
I
what?
got
You
done
did
with
it.
it, I got done with the match, and fucking Sting is a fucking great guy, man. Like Swerve was fighting him, and then Swerve threw him into the gate where I was at, and I was like, "You're a bitch." I just
Yeah.
told Sting he's a bitch, like right on the side, and I was like, "This is sick. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm really doing it. I'm really here with it. Me and my boy is having a match against Sting right now
a
in
legend.
Wembley Stadium.
One of the goats, Goat Mountain.
Super GOAT.
Let's go.
So I'm like, this is
wild.
I can't even handle this shit. This shit is overwhelming for me. And then I get to the back after I watch the whole match, and I'm beating myself up because I'm viral on Twitter and everywhere. And then I'm like, I asked Tony, and he made me feel so good. I was like, "How did I do, man?" He said, "You fucking nailed it."
That's awesome.
And I was just like, "Thanks,
There we
Tony."
go. Yeah.
Coming from you, you do TV every fucking week.
Does everything.
And I was just like, man, that shit means a lot, man. And I was like, I would love to do it again. And it's looking like we're gonna do it again August 27th.
That's so wild. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time. You nailed that performance, but you go check it out. You nailed this, man. I appreciate the insights, love. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Love Bug and Biggie and just what you bring. Consider you family, a friend, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. Nailed it. Man, we could do this again. We're going to run it back again because I think there's a whole nother episode here.
Yeah,
we're going to run this one back again later time with what we're doing because there is some sighting and stuff coming up that obviously we can't talk about. So after all this goes down, man, the next couple months, we're going to have you back on, get Swerve on to talk about what he's doing, man. It's just great, man. I'm super proud of you. As a person, just in the short time I've known you, man, watching you grow, continue to do, big things and continue to hustle. I'm proud of you. Thankful to call you a friend, man. Appreciate it. And again, go watch it. Go follow my guy, Flash. He's big. He's a great person, man. Someone you should know. Go check out Swerve, his main guy that he works with. Look, this is the DG Show. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you.
Yep. Make sure you watch the DG Show. It's your boy, Garments.